name is Ruckus. I'm 10-8. Okay, guys. Welcome back, everybody that was here yesterday. Sorry about the mishap. He got a unexpected guest, though, but everything's cool. I talked to him. I was just somebody he didn't know they were coming over. So, at any rate, he asked me if I could wait till 10 after 12, but then he actually texted me back and said he's ready to go whenever. So you guys got lucky. I was going to tell you some stories about myself and death row stories and all that shit, and give a little history about me, but nobody really cares about that. So let's get this show on the road. Let me get him brought in and get this thing going. You guys can hang on 1 second. So let me know that y'all can hear that okay.
Hello.
Eric.
How we doing?
Good. How are you, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. Trying to navigate through this traffic in Logansport. But other than that, we're doing all right.
Are you on the road?
Oh, yeah. I'm always on the road, man.
Okay.
I can't sit still very long. I might clean the house or something.
I hear you, dude. I'm retired, so I get bored as hell. That's why I do this shit, because I have nothing else to do, man.
That's about how I am. I'm not retired yet, but I sure act like it.
Yeah, we used to call people like you roadies, retired on active duty, you know?
There you go.
But
there you go.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I'm glad we got a chance to talk a little bit today before all this, so we could go over, because
clarify a little bit.
Yeah,
I never did know. I was going off what I understood, and I may have just misunderstood Frank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I never followed any of the LE's leads or any of that shit. You know, I just never really wanted any details, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, no, I don't, dude. I don't blame you. I couldn't even imagine when you were there, they were missing. You weren't expecting it. I mean, I know you said you had a gut feeling that something was wrong, but that's just, it's crazy.
It's not something, I mean, although we had that gut feeling, it's still not something you can ever prepare for.
Yeah, exactly.
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 They say it, you got a family member passing at the hospital even, and they tell you to prepare for it, and there's just no preparation for something like that.
Right. Yeah, no, there isn't. There isn't. Well, I've had, believe it or not, since yesterday, dude, there's been like 1,600 views on this. Yeah, well, people are really interested, Eric, because you were there, and there's been a lot of misconception, so you're able to clear a lot of things up, whether you realize it or not.
Right.
But did you hear any ATVs or anything out there when you were out searching?
I couldn't hear none, no.
Okay.
But I seen some tracks, like I said, going up to the Weber house. And see, I'm saying the Weber house. I'm not even sure. I ain't done no research to tell you that is Weber's house. I'm just going by what I've heard.
Yeah, it is. Where you were at was definitely the Weber's house.
But see, I don't even know for certain. You know what I mean? It's like, here I'm saying Weber's house. It could have been some other house nearby that, Weber's could have been on the other side. I don't know.
No, dude. I understand. And that's what makes this so good, Eric, is that you haven't followed this case. So you haven't seen or heard all of this stuff. It's hard when you're looking at this case, to all of us that are following it because we're interested in it. We don't have a dog in the fight, but it's because we know everything, and we forget sometimes that when this was all happening, that law enforcement and all the searchers and volunteers and stuff didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So it's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy as hell.
That's what I say. I can understand there's going to be people like me go out and just start searching on their own. But in a situation such as this, that whole place should have been shut completely down. Not any civilians should have been allowed anywhere in the area. I mean, flat out, they should have had organized groups together and going in grids, man. Like nothing was proper. Nothing was right.
Right. No, I understand. I mean, that's it's crazy when you look back, when you reflect on what actually happened. You know, you look back, it was crazy. Because I've always been wondering, you know, how the hell they didn't find the girls that first night. That's always been on my mind. That's why I wanted to speak with you in person, you know, not just text back and forth or anything.
Right. See, when they told us we had to stop the search, when that guy, well, it was a couple, 2 or 3 guys come through, and they said, hey, the sheriff's department wants you to stop the search, everybody to pull out. It's getting too dark. We're going to mess up any tracks or any evidence that may be hidden in the dark here. And it kind of made sense. You know what I mean? Like, it does. In a wrongful way, it made a little bit of sense. But at that point, I feel like it was a day late and a dollar short. You know what I mean? They should have made it a full-blown search at that point, not shut it down.
Right. Exactly. I agree. Now, from what they're saying, Eric, is that some people continued to search throughout the night. So
that very well may be, and what I really don't get is, well, you clarified that for me, is because I could hear people on the opposite side of the creek further down. Like I said, the side I was on, there was this steep hill. Nobody was going to trek that terrain unless it was going to be me, and I wasn't going to trek it. I was going to drop down in the river and follow the creek line around.
Yeah. Well,
when we had conversation, me and my buddy, and I was going to say, let's cross, you know, let's just go ahead and cross, because at that bend, it was a deep hole, you know, deep water hole there, you know, that's where the water's rushing and what have you. And so I was going to cross, but then them guys come through and said they wanted everybody to stop the search. And my buddy, you know, he says, well, I'm pretty tired. It's dark. Can't see our hand in front of our face. You know, it might not be a bad idea. We talked about it shortly and decided upon just leaving.
Right.
But, you know, had they not done that, man, I would have crossed that creek and I would have went on down. And, you know, it might have been the same timeline or whatever, but, you know, I would have veered out into them woods. You better believe I would have.
Right. No, I agree.
But like I said, I was in the understanding they was in the water, like literally in the water when they were found. Until today did I find out that they were a few hundred feet or yards that looked like up into the wood line. I mean,
it was actually,
that was new information to me.
Ellie said 50 feet from the bank. 50 feet. So they weren't too far back, but they were not in the water.
Right. Well, see, that is total new news to me. My understanding, and I don't know where I heard it from, but my understanding is that they were actually in the water. I heard, again, I don't even know where I heard it, some site probably, that one of the girls was still alive when they found them, and I heard that they were holding on to tree limbs in the water. I mean, so
yeah, no,
that found was my beliefs and thoughts.
Yeah, per law enforcement, per ISP, they found them about 50 feet away from the bank in a wooded area, and they were kind of in a swale, you know, a depression. So
right.
So
I wonder, you know, so that's the opposite side, and I haven't went back to the maps between you and Frank. I wanted to do that, I just hadn't had a chance, but
right.
I was going to see where that path, and see the maps don't show that path that comes down from the Weber's house. It was overgrown a little bit too. It wasn't like it was a well-beaten path. You know, it was just an old path that they used, obviously, but it wasn't beaten down to trail.
Well, it depends
so it
which Google Earth has. You can click the dates, and I'll do that and I'll send it to you. Take pictures of that like I did with these pictures here. But you can see it when it's there's not as much foliage, you can actually see where it's been worn down. There's a path there that both goes down to the creek and up to the old railroad tracks.
Right. See, I know the tracks. I remember them distinctly, the club tracks. Like I can tell you the print of the tracks still to this day. It's just something that stuck in my mind. I can tell you they came down the trail and they veered upstream, and then you could see the trail come back and going back up the hill to the Weber property.
Right. Right.
So, that would have been opposite direction of where the girls was found.
Yeah, they were on the other side of the creek.
Well, even at that, like, even if it was like the way Frank showed me on the map, it looked like it was a straight line from where the girls was found versus where the pile of bones were versus the trail up to Weber's home.
Oh, I got you.
And the way I was looking at that map that he drew out, it was looking like that was the case. But after reviewing your map, I'm seeing that's not the case. There wasn't a straight line. You know what I mean? It wasn't a clear view for that home. Very possibility that they went upstream, across the creek where it was more shallow, and then went on. But again, they'd had that great big hill to climb. They'd had to go clear up out and over into that field and around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, they went straight from the south end of the bridge right down that hill, straight down to the creek from the south end of the bridge is where they went. Now, I wasn't there. This is what law enforcement has put out. That's what happened, but nobody knows the exact path.
Right.
But the location where the bodies were, I mean, they have crime scene photos of afterwards. The bodies weren't there. They have the crime scene tape and stuff, so it's pretty easy to surmise where they were.
Right. See, I've never seen none of that.
Now, has law enforcement or any attorneys or anything spoken to you at all and got a statement from you or anything?
Not since I pissed that FBI agent off. No, that was the last correspondence I'd had with anyone about it.
Dude, I love it. So they had you as their number one suspect, but they didn't question you anything about the case, right? That's ridiculous.
No, just tried to over the phone, realized they was getting nowhere. And I do know, like I said, my mom called the local sheriff, and I don't know if it was the sheriff's department or if it was the FBI. One of them had went up and spoken with my boss to clarify that I was indeed at work during such and such hours or something. But, yeah, they never did question me or try to contact me again.
Yeah, well, you basically told them to go outside and play hide and go fuck themselves. That's why.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I was pretty clear.
Yeah, because there's people were asking. There's a gag order on the case for anybody that's involved with the attorneys and the victims and all that, but you're not involved in any way, shape, form, or manner in this case.
Right.
You were just involved with the volunteer search the day before.
I was just a friend of the family, and I just volunteer searched, man. There was I know the Abby girl, she had the last name of mine, and we both shared a common name of Williams. And so there was a lot of people thinking that I was related to this little girl, and that wasn't the case. I'd never met that little girl,
Yeah, I was going to bring that up to you. Just like I told you, there's been like 1,600 views of that video yesterday, even though it was short. You got unexpected company, you had to leave. But there's people that were not asking me. They were telling me that I was wrong, that you were not friends with Libby's uncle, that you in fact were Abby's uncle. And I said, well, I'll tell him he's wrong then. Next time I talk to him.
I'm not neither one of the girls' family by blood or marriage. I was a friend of the family and went out as a citizen to help.
Yeah, that's dude, that's awesome though. And looking back now, I mean, you gave your time and you actually put some effort into it, not like everybody else there, by going to the other side and walking the path less followed, which makes sense if you're looking for somebody that's missing, Eric, to be honest with you.
Listen, I don't look at it in any type of a way other than the fact that, I'm a father, And if one of my kids went missing, I would pray to God that everybody in the community would pull together like I tried and multiple other people tried and locate these children missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all. It's.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I got the call, had I drove to work that day when my buddy called me, had I drove to work, I would have left work immediately. But I didn't have means to leave immediately and get there. So I had to wait till my ride was ready to be done working for the day and catch a ride home. But had I been in my own truck, I'd have been gone immediately instead of waiting until the end of the workday.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think they realized the girls were missing by 4, the latest. So
I couldn't tell you the hours. I know if especially in a timeline that it was, because it wasn't really it was a decent day, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't really a hiking weather, you know what I mean? It was a cold time, and it wasn't weather to go hiking on the typical basis of that time of year, if I remember correct.
Yeah, now it was unseasonably warm, but that's still chilly.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like the right time to be out hiking trails unless you was, highly active into that type of thing. And I don't believe they were. Just by not showing up when they were supposed to be, and not just 5 or 10 minutes down the line, no word, no nothing. That it would have been an immediate heightened sentence for me. If that was my daughters out there or my sons out there. I would have went completely 100% full bore search. I mean,
no, absolutely, absolutely.
I know the state law shows that all these children have to be missing for 24 hours and blah blah blah, and before they actually consider it a missing child or whatever. But I just think it's bullshit. It is.
Yeah, even if I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you that it happens a lot, and 99% of the time, they're at a friend's house or what have you. But that, we're talking about kids here. So, if you have the resources and you can look for them, then look for them. I mean, I
that's what I say. Every case is different for sure. But it's like when you're in town, and you got a kid gone missing, mom or dad's mad, and you got to listen to the people that are there and present speaking, mom, dad, brother, sister, whoever it may be, and kind of get a feel for the situation and the child well-being of who they are, you know what I mean? You just listen to somebody's story and think and come to a pretty decent conclusion on a regular basis, rather, did this kid just get angry and being rebellious, not coming in on time, or is this kid actually got a possibility of being missing? I understand that law enforcement has to really play a role like that and make some difficult decisions. But when you're talking about 2 females, teenage females out on a secluded hiking trail, well away from any other civilization, such as where it was, and they're not on time, and it's well over 20 minutes even, I think that's call for some serious action to be taken. I mean, any possibilities could have happened. They could have fell down one of them hillsides and got hurt. They could have been a multitude of things happened.
Sure. Well, just look. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but look what actually happened in this case.
Right. I mean,
and one time,
the worst of the worst.
One time is too many times for this shit to happen when it comes to kids. I agree.
Yep.
Yet there's a bunch of assholes out there well into their 60s that are still running around breathing up our perfectly good air, right?
Well, I get in trouble all the time for saying that, but I'll tell you what, that's on my mouth almost every day, man, and I tell them. I'm not shy to tell anyone you need to quit breathing.
Yeah.
Like you're taking air that could be reserved for our children's future.
Yeah, oxygen thieves. That's what I call them, oxygen thieves.
For real. Like,
Okay.
and then I'm not prejudiced, man. Like, I've told some of my own family that. Like, it's just what it is.
Dude, sometimes family are the worst ones. They're the worst offenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Now, so I understand this. When you went around to the south side, you didn't see anybody searching there. But once you got across the bridge, right, and went down to the right, down that slope to be like under the bridge on the north side of the creek, was there other people searching there at that time?
Well, once I got to the south side of the bridge, once I started to approach the bridge itself, uh, that's when I started to see people. There were people on the south side. Like I said, there was I thought to be a volunteer firefighter blocking the bridgeway, telling me I couldn't cross.
And you didn't know, right?
In that general, no.
Okay.
But there were people in that general area there on the south side. And then as I crossed the bridge, there was even more people down. You know, I crossed and turned down to the right, down straight under the bridge to the water. And there was a abundance of people in that area. You know, there was once you go down the hill, it was a big flattened area where the river would wash the banks out for probably 50, 60 yards, you know.
Oh, okay.
And so it was just a big flat spot, flood area.
Yeah.
And, you know, that area was just covered with people, you know what I mean? And then as you started going further downstream, the side of the river that I was on, it started to thin out. The people started thinning out. You know, the train started getting muddier, muckier, started getting harder to trek through it. So the people started trekking thinner. But you could notice on the other side of the creek, there was people, you know, I could hear them. It sounded like they were a quarter mile downstream. You know what I mean?
On the north side of the creek or the south side?
That would have been on the north side of the creek, yes. Because I was at that point, I would have been stopping at the hillside and on the south side, but I could still see flashlight remnants and hear voices from the north side on downstream.
Okay, now you see that
when
map.
When they came up and told me I need to stop my search, you could still hear people on the other side searching on downstream.
On the south side where you were initially.
Let me get my bearings straight. So,
yeah, when you stopped your search, you said you were on the north side. You crossed over the bridge that went down by the creek and were searching along the creek bank there, right?
Right. So that would put me on the south side, ending on the south side.
Well, people call that the north side, and I agree. You're actually on the east side if you're technical about it. But you know, because they call this south end of the bridge and the north end of the bridge, you know, where the actual trail is the north end of the bridge, is how people identify it.
Okay, I see how they're portraying it. All right, so I'm gonna pull over here so I can really think here. Not worry about watching the road.
Yeah, don't have a wreck, Jesus. I don't want you mad at me because if you get in a wreck, I'm gonna laugh my ass off.
No, I ain't gonna wreck. It's gonna take more than that to take me out. So anyway, I'm turned around here. So once we went in, we came in from the south side of the bridge. On the south side of the bridge is where I came in at. And I crossed that trestle. I crossed it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It had to be, yeah. The south side. So I crossed the trestle, turned to the right, dropped down, which would have put me on the west side of the creek.
Yeah, people consider that the north side. So when you got stopped,
actuality, right? It's west.
Yeah.
Do what?
Yeah, actually, it's east. If you look at it from north, south, east, west. But where you stopped, I sent you that map, and that was pretty close to where you said that they stopped you, right? And that was law enforcement that stopped you.
No, it was civilian. There was no law. I didn't see anyone in a law enforcement suit, badge, nothing.
Okay.
I seen some fire trucks or volunteer fire trucks down in there with their lights flashing, and that they had. I think he was talking about getting some lighting in there or something. Some big trucks with lighting or something like that. I know I didn't stick around to talk a lot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I understand.
But no, everybody was in civilian clothes. So who was a fireman and who wasn't, I couldn't tell you. Like,
Okay, so you didn't see any authorities.
I could have been talking. No,
okay.
no.
Okay. Okay. Now, where you stopped searching at, Eric, right? Let's just say you're on the east side, just to make it simple, so it's where it's supposed to be. Was the people with the flashlights and talking, were they on your side of the creek, or were they on the other side?
They were on the other side.
Okay. Okay.
Because my side was a sheer cliff.
Right, and that goes up to the cemetery. Actually, that line.
Right. I don't know. The map shows the woods there, and then a field behind the woods. I don't know if there might be a cemetery in there. I don't know.
Yeah, there is down a little bit. Like the girls were found like straight down from the cemetery. If you went from the cemetery straight line down to the water, just off to the south of it a little bit, but it pretty much is the same line. But they and you said there was other people searching with you by that point when they asked you to stop. There was other people in that general area.
There were other people in that general area, and then again, my buddy, he wasn't too far away from me. He was within, I think, 20, 30 yards.
And that was Libby's uncle?
Correct.
Okay. Now, did you hear anybody like forward down the creek from you? Because that's where the girls were found. Was down the creek.
Yeah, that's what I say. I could hear people's voices yelling and hollering for the girls' names, and I could see flashlights downstream. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy because they were close, Eric. They were really close.
Right. They were close, and they were just on the wrong side of the creek. Like I said, that sheer cliff right there, that stopped anyone. You know what I mean? That stopped anyone. Nobody was going to climb that. And you know, I was eager to go across it just because I was already in motion. I was locked in, like I was on a hunting trip. You know, like that's what it flat out what it was. I was hunting. I was looking for any resemblance of these girls or where they may have came through or not.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's what any normal person would do, you know. But you mentioned that you might go back there and record it, dude. That would be awesome. I would love you to do that for me, for my benefit, you know.
I've been thinking about it, and I even after I told you that earlier, I thought, man, just to be on the safe side, and I don't piss anybody off or anything like that, being on private property or anything, I might just throw the canoe in and go down the canoe.
Yeah, well, none of that's private property until way down by where the girls were found. But there's been so many people after this case traipsing around in there that nobody gives a shit at this point. You know, and you're just going where you were.
Come in there. But when they hear Eric Williams' name, I'll promise law enforcement will be there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it goes, man. I'm telling you. I ain't kidding. When I do go, I'll record it, and you'll see what I'm saying.
Well, listen, dude, if they give you any shit, just tell them, say, hey, I know Ruckus, and he's a retired cop, so he can vouch for me. That'll do wonders for you. That'll do wonders.
Listen, I've built so many cops' homes. I've bricked their homes. I've done so much for so many cops around here. It doesn't matter, man. They want my blood. I'm telling you, they want my blood.
Yeah, well,
it's from a lifelong family feud that didn't even involve me. Matter of fact, I wasn't even born yet.
Yeah, well, those small towns and stuff like that shit lasts forever, man.
It seems to be, man. It was like a Hatfield McCoy kind of situation. And it's like, man, yeah. I guess we're not in the fucking 40s anymore, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Damn it.
All right. Well, I just wanted to clear things up with you, you know, because a lot of people were questioning, you know, where did people search? How did they miss the girls? I personally was like, I don't know how they could have missed the girls there, man.
Right.
And
yeah, like for real, by the map you showed me, you know, if I went on, I would have probably found them sometime through that night.
Oh, absolutely, dude. You were on the right track. And I've got those maps that I sent you. I've got playing in the background like a slideshow while we're talking here, so that everybody can understand what we're talking about. But they're the same exact ones that I sent you to verify, because I don't want to put any bad information out, Eric. You know, there's been enough of that shit.
That's the problem with it.
Yeah, exactly. But dude, if you could go back and retrace your steps, that would be gold, man. That would be awesome.
I ain't gonna do it anytime soon. Like I told you the other day, I got steel rods from my neck to my toes, so I don't do well with cold weather.
Yeah, I'm catching up.
When it gets warmed up, I'll go out there and I'll take a video of what I can remember doing and where I went.
Yeah, that would be awesome, dude. That would be awesome. I mean, a lot of people are just curious. It's just some people it's morbid curiosity, but
I don't know how this case went so viral, but it did, and so it intrigued a lot of different people, and the fact of how everything was botched up by the law enforcement, and for what reason, that intrigues people even more. Why didn't they, once they realized, why didn't they take a step back and turn it over to somebody that could handle the situation? Why did they continue to just cover things up all the way up to now? Even like they're holding court documents that is the public's right to know. So what? Patty, the grandma of one of the girls, didn't want it publicized. It's the people's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there is some, I do understand some of it, Eric, coming from a law enforcement background. It's an active investigation. If you put too much out, you'll end up losing information or suspects or stuff like that. Some of it does make sense. Some of it doesn't, though.
I get it, but that's what I'm. On the other hand, the way they're doing it right now, I feel like they're just trying to pin everything on this one guy and try to be done with the case. And well, I don't believe that's quite right. Even though this guy might have something to do with it, I promise he ain't the only one.
Did you? Well, you weren't from Delphi, but did you ever meet Richard Allen or go to the CVS or anything like that?
No, I went to CVS a multitude of times, but no, I never knew or met this guy.
Yeah, and part of the intrigue and stuff is that it's been so long. It's been 6 years, and they just arrested the guy in October, and nobody, not internet sleuths, not law enforcement, not the fucking brain genius FBI guy that talked to you. Nobody had this guy Rick Allen on their radar.
Right, that's what I say. Nothing makes sense. How's come all of a sudden they got 6 years later they got this guy and all this evidence? Sounds to me like they may have just fucking planted the evidence there.
Well, that's the discussion now, and there's a lot of people that agree with you. Trust me, there is. I am pro law enforcement. I tend to lean towards law enforcement. I'm a little biased with that, but they I mean, the truth will come out eventually. But there's a lot of people that agree that there's a cover up. That law enforcement, there's a bunch of dumb fucks, So.
They're in every business, like I've spoke with you before, I'm currently in a civil rights police brutality case going against Cass County, Indiana. And so, for me to be sitting here talking to an ex-state cop and now a private investigator,
I'm not a PI.
Some people would say that's kind of silly.
Yeah, I'm not a private investigator, dude. That was Frank that told you that.
All right, well, I thought you were, but to even be an ex-state cop and me talking to you, people were thinking like, well, that's crazy. Well, but it ain't, because you got good guys in every kind of work there is, and you got bad guys in every kind of work there is.
Right.
I mean, we're all human.
No, I agree. But yeah, I'm retired law enforcement, but I'm not. I don't want people to think that I misled you and told you I was a PI, because I'm not.
Oh no, I don't know. Like I said, I just assumed.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I'm like you, dude. I really don't care what people think of me, so I don't have a reason to hide or disguise anything. To me, it doesn't matter.
As long as they leave me and my family alone, I'm good.
Yeah, dude. I'm with you, Eric. I'm with you. But all right, man, I just want to clear that up, see where you searched and all that. And this has really helped a lot of people. They had a lot of questions about the bone pile, first of all. Everybody's, because you mentioned in your interview with Frank that it looks satanic to you, so people ran with that. And the fact that, where you searched, because everybody's wondering how the hell they missed the girls,
I may have said that when I was talking with Frank, but I didn't mean it as in a satanic ritual was going on down there or something like that. You know, I was pulling it out of context. It was, in my opinion, because still today, in my opinion, to have a pile of bones as large as that was, and to see all the skin and the fur laying into and interwebbed with it, it told me they weren't harvesting these animals and eating them.
Yeah,
you know
that's
I mean?
weird.
Right. It was almost like it was just a pile of discarded bodies of these animals people killed, and for what reason? You know.
Yeah. No, that is weird. That's odd.
Didn't appear to be harvested. You know what I mean? Like the deer antlers out there. If you was harvesting an animal, you know, you would have took that buck's rack. You know, you'd have rather you left them in your garage for no reason, but you would have took it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even hunt, and everybody knows you take the rack.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was out in the open. It was off the beaten path a little bit, though, wasn't it?
No, it was right there.
Okay. So
right
it wasn't far from the
south
south end of the bridge.
No.
Okay.
Not far at all.
Okay. Yeah, that's just weird. You know, people like me that, you know, I live in Florida, dude. I've never been in Indiana. That's why it'd be so cool for someone to go out there and video it so people would know, you know, satisfy their curiosity, you know.
For sure.
But, dude, I appreciate you talking
I can only encourage anyone that wants to come check it out. I can only encourage they come and check it out. And I tell you what, it would just tickle me pink if somebody could prove who's all involved and how this really went down and show some real justice for these two young ladies. That would tickle me pink.
Right. Yeah, I would love to go there, but you know, who am I? You know, I'm a fucking nobody. You know, I'm a retired deputy that has a podcast. Nobody gives a shit about that. But you get, you know, people that can do something.
1,600 views on one video, bro. That's not nobody. I wouldn't have got no 1,600 views.
Dude, if you...
I did a Facebook reel, and it was a video of my wife on there just giving her shit, really. And I think I got like 100 views.
Yeah,
I was popular, man.
But Eric, listen to me. I put like 15 videos out, and the most views I got was like 120. The only reason I got 1,600 views is because the name Eric Williams is involved with it. Because I'm speaking to you.
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm serious. You could do your own podcast now, dude, and you'd be a smash hit on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube.
Yeah. I thought about it, man. I thought about doing it and just start showing on what's going on right now with this police brutality case I got going on. But
yeah, dude.
I'm not very computer literate to begin with.
Well, if you want to do it through me, I don't mind that either. You know, and I don't do this for any. I'm not monetized or anything. I don't get paid for this. But you could do it through me if you want. I like interesting shit. You know.
Right.
And being,
I reached out to my attorneys and asked them what they thought. I haven't got a reply yet, but if they say go ahead, I'm going to try to do something and go social media with it.
Well, if you need any help with it, getting set up and stuff, I'd gladly help you. I know a lot of people would, but you know, I like your style. I like your no bullshit style. There's not many people out there on YouTube doing that right now. They call themselves creators and commentators but stuff like that. But, you know.
Well, that's the problem with the fucking world today is they're creators.
Yeah, they create a lot of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm boring as hell, dude. I'm boring as hell because I'm pro law enforcement. And I don't believe anything until you show me. You know, you got to vet whatever information you put out. There's so much misinformation out there right now, especially in this case. That's why I wanted to talk to you. I didn't want anybody having misinformation about somebody that I was actually speaking to and that I know. That didn't sit well with me, you know, because I didn't get that from you at all when I spoke with you. So,
anyone that does, they've already got their own opinion made up, and you ain't gonna change it anyway. Because I don't cut no bullshit for no one for no reason. It is what it is, and if it ain't right, well, I'm sorry, but that's the way I remember it.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you. You know that, Eric. I'm on your side, man. You remind me of one of my best friends. I told you that. But all right, man, I just want to touch base and clear things up. I don't want to tie up your whole day. I know
All right.
you're driving.
Yeah, I just got in. I got to get these dogs to go potty before they go on the floor.
Okay. But if I have any more questions, you mind if I reach out to you?
Oh, anytime.
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. All right. Well, I hope I asked everything that you guys wanted asked. I don't like to go too deep. I don't want to get too personal with people. I know you guys mentioned the gag order and stuff, but he's not been interviewed in this case. He's not a participant in any way, shape, form, or manner outside of being a volunteer searcher. The only notoriety he has is what we've all caused. What YouTubers and Facebook and internet groups and all that. That's the only notoriety he has, is because what everybody's done. Here's a guy who just took time out of his day to go help look for these girls, and it's turned into a whole big shitstorm, and he's not even aware of it. That's what pisses me off. Until I told him what was going on and stuff, he wasn't aware of all this stuff. So, but you know, the good thing about him is he doesn't give a shit. So I'm lucky that he talked to me, to be honest with you, because he doesn't care what anybody thinks of him. But him and I hit it off. We've been talking for a couple months. We talk on the phone and we text back and forth and stuff. He's a good guy. And if he wants to get started doing this, I'd gladly help him. And I know a couple of you guys out there would probably give him a hand as well, getting started with this. But that's all I have for today. Thanks to everybody. Like he just said, I got 1,600 views on yesterday's video, and I know it's not me, it's because of Eric. But hopefully some of you that came along and watched it like my content and like what I'm doing. And I'm hoping that videos like this, if there's other people that want to be interviewed, they'll trust me. They'll know I'm not going to hang them out there and I'm not going to screw them over. So videos like this really help me when I'm trying to get other people to talk to, because I'm certainly not interesting on my own. But you guys, please like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Let's get this shit with Eric cleared up so people can stop talking shit and assuming things. If you have any more questions, he said that I can reach back out to him. So I'll gladly do that for any of you guys. And for all of you content creators that are on here watching, I appreciate it. I like all of you guys. I subscribe to everyone that I've seen so far that's been in here from other channels. Thank you, Frank. Yeah, and you're one of them. You're a good dude, man. I've been following you for a while. All right, so I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day, and don't take any wooden nickels. My name is Ruckus, and I am 10-7. Hope you guys have a good day. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it.